Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm Chiscool Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Whiteout Survival, I want to talk about the Sunfire Castle battle. The Sunfire Castle battle is obviously incredibly rewarding, but our state is now over, like 140 days old? Should we actually be battling for the Sunfire Castle? So in this video, I want to talk about the approach we're going to use for the upcoming Sunfire Castle battle, or at least an outline for what that might look like. And I'll talk to you about how we kind of got here, because if you're subscribed to the channel, you know that in state 2242, we've been doing a rotation of the Sunfire Castle. We did that rotation among the top 3 alliances by power. And initially, before we even got to a rotation, we actually did a fight for the Sunfire Castle. Okay, so step 1 was we battled for this thing. We didn't hit each other's cities because, that's crazy. But we would battle for the center, and we took turns holding it still. So Squad got it one time, then RTZ got it, then Bro got it. That is, by power, in our state, the top 3 alliances. Okay, and we did that rotation. Now, I will say SSQ has been really well organized and growing a lot. So, I don't know what your state is like and how many alliances are sort of growing and powering up. But it almost, in some ways, feels like the 3 alliance rotation isn't all that adequate. Anyways, taking a step back, okay? That's what we did initially. We had a rotation. We actually fought for it. Great. Then we started having SvS, and it was like, whoa. SvS already, for some people, is using up a fair amount of resources healing. Should we really be fighting for this thing in between when we go into SvS? And I think the answer is very obviously no, but there's a conflict there. The conflict is that there's a ton of rewards, like a lot of rewards for the Sunfire Castle. I mean, everybody wants to take a hit because there's some tiered rewards just for participating, but also there are ranked rewards, all right? And the ranked rewards are obviously very good, and there's always going to be somebody who's going to chase down #1 on this leaderboard, and I don't blame them. That's a lot of charm stuff here, okay? So how do we enable people to genuinely compete for some of these top places while also not pissing people off and depleting each other going into SvS, right? The point of Sunfire Castle is no longer to fight for it within our own state. And especially within our state, that's 2242, up until some state transfers go through, we've paused our rotation of the castle. I think everybody kind of trusts me to be president and hold the center to make sure that state transfers go according to plan. And so for the time being, we're not even rotating this castle anyways. So we're not even taking turns holding it. By the way, if you wanted to transfer to our state, you could use the link in the description to join our transfer Discord. And even if you're not interested in transferring to our state, but are kind of curious to see what a transfer Discord looks like, you're welcome to go and check that out. We've been getting a ton of applicants, which is really awesome. We've started to confirm some folks, but we still have open spaces that, we're going to go and fill. And also, we still have a ton of people on this list that we haven't even had a chance to talk to yet. So definitely consider joining us if you're interested. I know that's a bit of an aside, but that's why I'll be holding this for one more cycle. So we're not even rotating the middle. And I know a bunch of states don't rotate the middle anyways. So what do you do if you're not rotating the middle and still give people opportunities to fight? So if SQD is holding middle, what about everything else? And I like to talk to my buddy Skillet from State 300, who's in our state as well and has been giving guidance and coaching for hey, what do we do in these different situations? He recommended that what we should do is create some limitations, and those limitations add a sort of gaming, sort of fun element to it, okay? So as an example, you could set 2 towers to be furnace level 30 and below, and only people furnace level 30 and below can reinforce or hit those towers. And the other 2 turrets would be fire crystal level 1 and above. And that would give free-to-play people a chance to actually have some fun in the middle without getting completely wrecked when they go to participate. Another option, as an example, would be to have 2 turrets. I mean, you pick which 2. It could be this one and this one. That would be for top 10 by hero power. and the others would be a free-for-all. The points can then easily be obtained from joining rallies or doing a few solo attacks. Like, personally, I'm just going to, like, get the minimal amount of points, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to try to, like, not escalate the drama here. So what I think we probably end up doing, and our state is a council, so, like, we got to talk about this and still lock in on this as a pathway. But I think what we're going to end up doing is we'll have maybe 2 turrets be free-for-all and 2 turrets be furnace level 30 and below. And squad will hold the Sunfire so that this is just a 3-hour affair, okay? In addition, we'll also probably have no token buffs allowed for this fight. So, like, you know, we could spend, 100,000 gems plus per person with all these buffs here. Or we could just, not do that. So I think we'll have a rule of no buffs. I think pet buffs will be fine. And boom, there we go. So I probably should even mark these now and lock in on, like, Skillet's proposing the south turret and the east turret would be furnace level 30 and below. The north turret and the west turret would be free-for-all, so the higher power players could do whatever it is that they feel like doing as long as they don't buff up. And the other thing that Skillet said as a clarification that I think makes sense is that, all you need to do is have 1 troop of any type, whether it's infantry, it's lancers, or it's marksmen, at a certain tier, and you qualify as a player of that tier. So, like, if you had 1 fire crystal, 1 troop, and it's just infantry, you're still an FC1 player at that point. Even though you have no fire crystal lancers or no fire crystal marksmen, you still qualify as a fire crystal 1 player. So you would have to be in the free-for-all area, not the furnace level 30 and below area. So I think that's a pretty solid plan, but a part of my motivation for making this video is I'm kind of curious what you all do. Like, the rewards here are super real. Everybody wants more charm stuff, right? Everybody wants more charm stuff. So how do you divvy it up? Right? And, like, money where my mouth is. I mean, you can see my rank here is 11. I reinforced the middle. I did my part as a part of SvS. And then, like, that was pretty much it. I suppose I could have spent a bunch of time during the rest of the day hitting players in the enemy state, but I had a busy day, and you know how it is, right? You already jam like 4 or 5 hours as a part of the capture, like, it adds up. So anyways, that's the game plan. As far as my charms go, by the way, I'm in a pretty solid spot. I was really happy with some of the events recently. I was able to pick up some really solid charm materials. It was this right over here that I need. I mean, I still need a ton of these relative to the charm guides. So yeah, as soon as I can get these, I'm good to go. I think it was the building event that we had recently, the construction event, where, like, man, it was so valuable for me to just lock in on just getting a ton of these over here, along with a bunch of other stuff. But being able to get exactly what I need instead of, like, a bundle that's just got, like, everything you might need it felt really high value to me. All right. But anyways, I'm off on a little bit of a tangent. If you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. If you want to consider transferring to my state, you can use the link in the description. You can tell from this video, like, there's obviously still things we're figuring out. We're not like some perfect, 100% active in every alliance, state. Like, we're solid. And we've got a really great core. And I showcase everything, what we do well, our flaws, etc., so that you all can see and learn from that as well. And so hopefully that, like, I don't know, I hope I never have come across as, like, a holier than thou approach to our state. And in fact, what's worth mentioning here is that I suppose to some extent we could have, like, consolidated the strongest, highest power players into a smaller number of alliances. But instead, we've got, at least 4 shells that have super active, super engaged leadership that gives us a good platform for growth, right? So like every time state transfer shows up, assuming we have a high volume of interest, which we have been, we can flesh out the alliances we have with more and more like active, engaged players, which is really hype. I know right now in my alliance, we've been like literally holding spaces open for transfers. It's like, well, in the meantime, it like, you know, you want to see the alliance power number be higher and all this other stuff, but it like kind of doesn't matter. The transfers are locking in. We're going to be in a good spot. Cool. All right. This video has gone on long enough. Let me know your thoughts on the castle battle. If you want to see my prior castle battles, card to be in the end screen. I got some summaries of those. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.